had been in Germany maybe 4 months something. Figured, why don't I take a trip down to see whatnot? So I called up the guy who was in the airport, and didn't know him naturally, and told him who I was and whatnot. You know. Now, I missed a step. Step before that is Tizinella got homesick with Sabino, so they sent Nonno to keep her company. So the both of them were there. But I didn't know that. I just thought that Tizinella was there and that I was visiting because she was related. So anyway, I took the train down and I went in, into the apartment complex where I met Tizinella and Nonno. I'm not kidding, I took one look and I said, she's the one for me.
Oh my.
Just like that.
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't want to be too bold about it. But anyway, I spent the day and everything. And as a matter of fact, I had the weekend, so I spent the weekend there and left the next day. So I said to myself, I gotta go back. So I waited till the next week, and the funny part of it was that we had to go out every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and stand outside and have what the heck do they call a roll call?
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's there. But the train left at 8 o'clock
Oh
to
no.
go to Landstuhl. So I had this guy who was a good friend of mine, and he knew what I was doing. And I said to him, when they have roll call, answer for me, will you? So what he did was, he stood way in the back of all the group. Sergeant is over there, and then he got a line of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 soldiers. So he got in the rear. And so he said, I'll take care of it, don't worry. So I left early, caught the train and went. I came back. I said, how'd it go? No problem.
Oh.
He said, I just answered for me when they called, and I answered with a different voice for you when they called.
Wow. Oh, they answered in a different voice?
Yeah, just so that
That's funny.
the sergeant might not recognize it.
Right. How many people were out there for roll call? Do you know?
Oh, I would say they had to be at least 60, 70 people.
Oh wow. So I guess it wasn't too hard to.
No, to
skip it.
fake it.
Yeah. So you
On the barracks.
got on that 8 a.m. train.
Right. And what happened was, then that train, it would come back, and it would come back late.
Mm.
And this leads to another incident. It comes back late. We were in the barracks, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4 of us in a room. And there was this one guy who came from a very rich family. He was a slob. So come the weekend, when I want to go, the sergeant comes in and says, "What the hell is it with this pig pen?" And so he didn't just point out that guy. He said, "You guys better clean up this room,
Yeah.
because I'm coming back right away."
Mm-hmm.
So we cleaned up the room, and he said, "For punishment, you guys are all restricted to the barracks
Oh,
for the weekend."
no.
So what happened is, due to whatever circumstances, we had to take turns. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Anyway, we had to stay up all night and just stay in the office in case something happened, in the barracks. And the sergeant came in and said to me, "You got night watch." I wasn't very happy about things, but
Yeah.
this was during the week. So I'm on night watch, sitting at the desk. And I look at the desk. There's a pad on the desk. I look at the pad, I'm reading it. And there were weekend passes. In other words, you needed a pass if you wanted to go anywhere. You had to show that you were given permission to go. I said, "Holy mackerel." But then I looked again, and right on the top of it said, "Gut Leut Kasern Mess Hall." I said, "Oh God, this is a meal pass. A mess is called a meal. This is a meal pass." And I said, "Well," anyway, I took a couple of them off the top and put them in my pocket. So when the weekend came, I said, "The hell with it, I'm going to go." So I took out the pass, wrote Captain John Brown as the officer who signed it, and it had a big red stamp on it, "Gut Leut Kasern." Put it in my pocket and went off. When I got to Landstuhl, I had to take a military bus to get to the apartments where the Jimmy and everybody was. So I get on the bus, and sure enough, the APs and MPs were coming down, checking everybody's pass. And I said, I'm dead." So guy comes to me looking at that. I give him the mess pass that I had made up a weekend. So he looked at it, picks it up, looks at it, gets it back. Goes on. Just, you know what he saw? I was in the U.S. Army Security Agency. And that's what it said in big red letters. U.S. Army Security Agency, Gut Leut Kasern, and then in small letters it said Mespec. So all he saw was U.S. Army Security.
Oh.
He was looking quickly.
You didn't really check.
No, all he wanted to see was something.
Right.
And I said, "Thank God."
Hallelujah.
And that night when I came back, I had to use the pass to get back in again.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes you're really lucky. I just happened to know the guy who was on guard duty. So he just let me. And that was one of the excursions that I went to. Well, what developed from there was I was going down more often and more often. And finally proposed to your grandmother a ring. And that following, well, I gave it to her in December at Christmas, but we made a date to get married the following October, where we would go to Italy.
Yes.
And we had to set it up, the marriage. Now, Mimi had an uncle who was the parish priest. He was the pastor in Supino. So she set it all up on that end. I set it up on the military end. Now, what happened was, the minute I applied for marriage with a foreign national, I lost my top secret clearance as a cryptographer. So I could no longer be a cryptographer. And I got transferred. I got transferred to Paris. What a tough life, huh? Anyway.
I know.
I got transferred to Paris. And did my, and not only Paris, it was national headquarters for Europe. So when I was there, I knew colonels, generals, admirals, you name it, because it was the top headquarters.
All those men.
And as a result, I was able to travel from there to Sabino on trips.